Hello.
Hi.
I was about to say good morning. It's like 7:30 at night.
Very not close to morning, but
Yeah, no. Today went by so fast, though. Like, I don't know about you, but for me, it flew by.
yeah, the days lately are going real quick.
I guess that could be like have to do with the fact that it's like I go into work when it's dark, and today I got home and it was dark.
Yeah, that doesn't help things. It's like, oh, there my day went. But I go outside at least once a day for recess, so I see the sun.
Yeah, I kind of miss recess. Almost 25, and it's like, can we get recess back, please?
Yeah, I like it. I like getting the break and going outside, or even indoor recess. A few of them were asking for indoor recess lately because they were working on a puzzle. So
yeah, I mean, I do have an hour I technically have two 15-minute breaks and a 30-minute paid lunch, so an hour, which I don't usually take the full hour anyway. But I had a coworker who doesn't work with us anymore. He's actually over in California. So Johnny, if you're listening, shout out to you. He would go on walks outside, like in the fall, enjoy the nice day. And I was like, I kind of want to do that, but now with all the construction that we have and the easy kind of route to the trail that's on the other side of the road, you can't really access that as easily anymore.
That makes it tough.
So. And the fact that winter's coming, because we had a snowstorm, 2 weekends ago, and I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to walk outside in this weather. So.
Yeah, it's been tough to get out and walk Evie because of when I get home it's dark. I'm not going to go by myself.
Right.
Especially when all these houses are under construction around me. It kind of spooks me out. So.
Yeah, kind of creepy.
A little bit, because you never quite know. Because it's dark when I get home at 6. Some people are still at the house working, at the other houses working. It kind of spooks me. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing over there?
Well, and just a safety thing, going out in the dark, have a headlamp and or lighted or reflective vest or something.
Yeah, Evie has a light up collar.
Well, that's cute. I've seen a couple what are those called?
Leashes.
Leashes, thank you. They'll light up. It's that's really cool. They're really innovative.
Yeah, they're fun. My mom got them for us. Got them for my dog, her dog, my sister's dog, my cousin's dog, my aunt's dog, because when we take them up to my grandma's, on the farm, when they're all running around during the campfire, we're literally on the farm, so there's not lights out there.
Oh, yeah.
So we can see the dogs, and we don't trip on them.
Yeah, it's a problem. I grew up out in the country, too, so unless it's a full moon and it's bright outside, you can't see shit past the firelight.
Yeah, and these trailers have lights on them, but it's not bright enough, over by the fire. But it's nice. It's definitely a nice thing to,
right.
Not have lights in your face, but...
Well, my old cat, Lucky, all of my cats, all two, growing up at my parents', were indoor-outdoor cats, and Lucky was a Persian Blue, I think that was his breed. So it's this beautiful, not necessarily light, but a light gray, kind of almost like a silver color. I mean, gorgeous cat. He was just the most beautiful cat. But because he was that kind of darker color, when we're out at the fire, and he's a cat, you don't hear him coming. He doesn't pounds around. He would just kind of walk, and then all of a sudden you feel something brush against you. You're like, what the fuck was that?
Yeah, that's kind of spooky. That's how I feel sometimes when I'm going about my day at school. I turn around, there's just a kid right behind me. I'm like, what the fuck? Why are you right there?
Have you ever seen those videos? I've seen more and more now where someone's recording themselves, and then all of a sudden they turn around and their child is behind them. I just actually saw one today that there's this guy, you could tell he was pumped up, getting ready to talk about something, and he like moves his chair off to one side, and his daughter has like really dark black, kind of long for how young she was, beautiful hair, but she looked like the Grudge. So when you turned and you just see like
That's
this
spooky.
dark hair, and she, of course she's a kid, so it's like all in her face, so it straight up looked like the Grudge, and he just goes, "Ah!"
That's so funny. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. I'm like, I can't go anywhere without one being followed.
Yeah, it's terrifying because like one minute you're alone and all of a sudden, poof, there's someone with you that you didn't hear kind of stroll up behind you.
They're always right near me.
Yeah, children are they're like cows.
A
They're
little
sneaky.
bit. A little bit.
Yeah, flashback to my original YouTube video channel that my friends and I created in high school. We called it Ninja Cows because I said that like cows are sneaky, like they will sneak up on you. So we call ourselves Ninja Cows. Yeah, but
Wow.
yeah, it was a time. We have all of 2 videos that have like 20 views, so yay us.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, but speaking of things that like scare ya, we're talking about phobias today.
Yeah, a little bit. A little bit
Yeah.
phobias.
Maybe not necessarily like textbook case of phobia, but just kind of some fears and some worry, I guess, that we have. I thought it was going to be a fun little topic to talk about today. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what are some things that kind of spook you or creep you out or
One of the
irrational fears?
most- This, you know, it teeters on whether this is rational or irrational, but strangers, honestly,
Really?
I just don't like strangers, like adult strangers anywhere. Like, I'm always sus of everybody. Like, I'm like, what are you doing? Like, why are you? And I have the perfect example. Like, this past weekend, we were home for Thanksgiving.
Mm-hmm.
And Friday night, we went out with some of Eric's friends, and we were at this club. I'd call it a bar, not really a club. And it has this, like, raised dance floor.
Wait, home like Michigan home or home as in like Indiana home?
No, home like Michigan home.
Okay.
And it was like this raised dance floor, like maybe a few inches off the ground, not like huge or anything, but it's basically a light up dance floor. And at some point in the night, like I clock this guy, and I'm like, okay. So we're like kind of on the corner, like on the outskirts
as
of
in
dance
creepy
floor.
or as in handsome?
As in creepy. He's wearing a trench coat and a cowboy hat.
Oh.
That kind of. And I was like, okay, like noted. There was a bunch of like.
Right.
I'm still not used to like 40 somethings being out at bars. Like I'm still used to like the college bars where there's like, 20 somethings.
Yeah, I guess it depends on the demographic, like where you're at. Location.
Yeah. And so for a while I noticed these other 40 somethings and I was like, the guys like just kind of standing against the walls. I'm like, this is kind of weird. And then I noticed like a group of also like 40 something year old women. I was like, okay, I feel better.
The
like, they're
husbands and
connected.
wives, yeah.
Yeah, this guy was not with anybody else. He was with another guy who was wearing like a hat or whatnot, and they were just watching the dance floor. I was like, okay. And then they just got closer and closer, and I was like, oh, no, I don't like this. It made me so creeped out. Like, and they moved for a while, and then they were back in that area, and I was like, it gave me like such anxiety. Like, I can't even describe it. I was like, I'm about to get snatched somehow. Like.
So it's
This
not
is
even like
not-
talking to people. It's just like the presence of.
The presence of strangers, usually.
Yeah.
I would not
Is it like
talk to
all
people.
strangers, or is it just like creepy people like that?
Certainly creepy people, but like
Well,
if someone's walking around
yeah.
with
I mean, I don't have that, and I would be like, "Fuck no."
no, it's just people in general. Like I am like fine to be out in public, but sometimes I'm like, I'd rather not. I'd rather not be here.
Right.
I don't want to be existing around people because they're unpredictable.
That's kind of funny coming from a teacher.
Little people are fine.
Yeah.
I like the little people.
They don't like midget. They prefer to be called little people.
Yeah, my tiny humans are nice, and they are also unpredictable, but not in a way that's like
Yeah.
I don't know. I just don't like
They're
it. I don't like.
predictably unpredictable. Like
They
kids,
are.
You never know what they're gonna do, but at the same time, like that they're gonna do something, so you know to be like it's. I don't even know what I'm trying to say, but you know what I
Yeah,
mean,
no,
right?
I know exactly what you're saying. Like, you expect them to say some crazy shit or do some crazy shit, like you always do. But I'm just like, people just make me nervous, like.
I have a story about some crazy shit that kids say.
Oh, that's my day-to-day life.
Well, I mean, this is pretty viral. Do you know who Rhett and Link are from Good Mythical Morning?
No.
Oh, they're funny, and I highly recommend. I think they have a podcast. I know it's a YouTube video, like morning show, if you will. But Rhett and Link. But one episode that they had on their kids, and Link's, I believe it was Link's son. He was probably like 6, 7, so like old enough, but like still pretty young. And one of the questions that they had, it looked like one of those like 4th grade, 5th grade, maybe 3rd grade kind of questionnaire, and you write in your answer. It just had like 2 or 3 lines underneath, and it said, if you could ask Abraham Lincoln anything in the world, what would it be, or something like that. Mm-hmm. And Link's son goes, "Hey, would you like to go to a play?" And they're just like looking at each other like, what did he just say? And you could tell he was so innocent. Like,
oh,
I don't think he meant anything by it, because like for him, he's young, so it's just like, let's go to a play, let's go watch something. But at the same time, he seemed old enough to know that like how Lincoln died.
Oh my God.
And it was just so like, this kid is savage. Oh my God. Oh yeah, kids are wild. Kids
they are
wild.
They are. They say stuff all day where I'm like, oh my God, where did you get that from?
Yeah, I feel kind of on the stranger thing, though. I'm almost on the exact opposite side, where like I have bouts of like, don't touch me. Like when I go to Meijer, I am
you get touched at Meijer?
No. Oh God, no, that sounds inappropriate.
Like, Jesus.
No, like when I go to Meijer, when I go shopping, I'm like, don't talk to me, don't touch me, don't look at me.
Yeah.
I'm going in for 5 things. I'm going as fast as I can. Get the fuck out of my way, and I'm going to the register. Like, in, out, done. You can ask most guys; they're probably like that. But like, I almost go out of my way, even like if I know someone in Meijer, unless I'm like really like, hey, I want to talk to you type of thing. It's a like, you didn't see me, I didn't see you. I want to get in, out, and done. I don't want to spend another 15 minutes just chit-chatting in aisle 5 next to the Mountain Dew or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah, there's plenty of times where it's just like, I don't want to talk to anyone. But I'm definitely like a people person. So I don't know how I could live with that kind of sketchiness of other people.
Yeah, I just don't know. And it has to do, I mean, I'm sure it has to do a little bit with my introvertedness, where I like don't talk to people at first, and I'm just like, I'll let you come talk to me, or like, I don't even know. It just weirds me out. Like, I don't even know how to react generally if like strangers start talking to me. I'm like,
You weren't that introverted when we first met, though.
Depends on the circumstance. You guys were also at my apartment, and like,
yeah, that's fair.
In my space, like if I'm my space, that's a lot easier. But like if I'm coming into someone else's like zone, I don't know, it's different. I was talking to one of Eric's friends about this last weekend too.
Mm-hmm. Well, what did they say?
Well, so the joke was that one last summer, I think it was, when we were up at doesn't matter. We were all hanging out, and we were playing a drinking game, and he had to give compliments to everybody. Mm-hmm. And he started out with me. He was like, "Amy, you're outgoing." I was like, "That's bullshit. That's fake. I am not outgoing." And we were like, I was giving him grief about it. And he was like, "Well, now." I'm like, "Now?" I was like, "That wasn't then." That's so different.
Yeah. People change.
I know. And I was like, now that you know me, like now that I know you, and like I've been around you for 2 years, yeah, I'm more comfortable. Of course.
Yeah, we're not strangers.
Yeah, we're not strangers. Of course I'm going to be more outgoing, but I was not then. That's a bullshit compliment.
Yeah. One of my fears, yeah, I wouldn't even call it like an actual phobia or fear, but for just, I mean, most everyone knows it, arachnophobia. Like, I hate spiders. Like,
That kind of surprises me.
Well, so as a like outdoors person and love of nature and like I find like insects and bugs and everything really cool. Arachnids are cool. I appreciate them. Some of them look gorgeous, like orb weaver. I don't know if I ever showed you the photo, but when I was taking my entomology class senior year, I think it was, what we had to do is, of course, collect bugs, so we could get, we had like a whole checklist and all the different families we had to like pretty much try and get, and we like pinned them. So at home, in my parents', I have a 2 boxes of bugs, dead bugs, in my closet at home. Yeah, the funny thing about that is like the irony in that is when I was growing up. Sorry, Chloe, if you're listening, but when I was growing up, it was really hot in the summer, so my parents opened my window for me. And this is when I like still had a bunk bed and everything, so I was pretty young. Well, in the screen, in the bottom left corner, there was about a quarter, maybe a nickel-sized hole in the screen. And I woke up, and there was a few bugs on the wall, and bugs, like, crawling on me. Like, I wasn't, like, swarmed by any means. Don't get me wrong. Exactly.
Ew.
For those listening, Amy's making a gross face.
That's
and
disgusting.
I woke up, I don't know how, maybe there was one crawling on my face or what, but I woke up in the middle of the night and I saw this and I was terrified. I was so grossed out because there was bugs everywhere. I slept with my sister from the age of like 5 to like 12, like 7 years or something like that. I slept with my sister because of bugs in my room. I could not sleep in my room because of that reason.
I don't blame you. That's yucky.
And here I am, like 10, 15 years later, with a box of bugs in my room at my parents'. So yeah, the irony is there. But anywho, back to the whole spider thing. So one day we did a little field trip to the fields south of campus, like right off of, like we went down farm and then, what's that road right there with the big parking lot?
Yes, I know what you're talking about. I can see it.
I can see it too. It's going to bug me. I'll probably scream it out later in the episode. And any MSU folks, they're probably like, it's this one. This is the road. It's the one with the MSU right on the corner down there. But we went out to some fields down there and we were collecting bugs. We had the gnats, all the fun stuff. And somebody told my professor, which I cannot remember her name. She was so funny. She was like 5'4", this spunky little, like probably in her 50s woman. I just loved her to death. She was so fun. I'm pretty sure we called her by her first name too. Like we didn't even call her like Doctor, whatever her name was. We called her by her first name. But someone saw this orb weaver spider, and it was about this long, which I'm holding up about 3 to 4 inches. And the body of it was probably a good 1.5 to 2 inches. Someone had a quarter in their pocket, and I was able to take a photo of it, like close up, and then a quarter for reference to show how big this sucker is. But like, they're gorgeous. They do amazing things for the environment. They're our natural bug repellent essentially because they eat all the like mosquitoes and stuff. But they terrify me. Like, I don't want them touching me. If I see them in the room, I think I was sitting on the couch a little bit ago, and I saw one. It wasn't even that close to me, but it was just like on the wall kind of beside me, and I jumped so far out of my skin. Like, I was just like, because just even thinking about them, it just, gets me riled up.
They don't really bother me.
Oh, no.
I'm the spider killer in our house. Like, there's Amy, there's a spider, and I have to come kill them. Like,
I've gotten better
all the time,
but it's just like, no, don't touch me. My high school science teacher, Mr. Keeler, he had a tarantula in the classroom.
Interesting.
I can't remember her name. It was kind of cute. It was like Betty or something. But yeah, he held it in his hand and allowed other people to touch it. I'm like, get that fucker away from me. Of course, he didn't say that,
I mean, like, I definitely wouldn't hold them. Like, Eric would hold a tarantula. Like, he's held big spiders, but the little ones at home, no.
It's always the little ones that get you.
Yeah, they are kind of spooky. But I don't really have any, like, I mean, some bugs are fine. Like, I don't have a particular, like...
Snakes?
Disdain. Like, I mean, they're just fine. Like, I just respect their space. Like, reptiles in general, I'm not a huge reptile person.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like, I don't know. They're not cute to me. They're just, like, kind of weird. But
See, I
I'm
love
not
snakes.
scared of them.
I can pick them up. I do it all the time. I've, of course, gotten bitten a couple times, too, which is nice about Michigan. We don't have any... Well, we technically have one venomous one, but for the most part, we don't really have anything venomous here too much. So, yeah, snakes don't get me, but I know some people are, like, terrified of snakes.
Yeah, that doesn't really bother me too much, honestly. Like, they're fine. I just kind of respect their space,
mm-hmm.
and they respect mine. And that's the important part, is, like, just kind of staying away.
That's fair, yeah. Especially if you're not really in a rural setting, like, you probably won't see them too much.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Yeah.
You know, we have geese.
Geese.
Yeah, it's actually kind of funny. A few weeks ago, we were working on plurals.
Oh, and
That's
when you
cool.
said we, for some reason, I thought you meant you and Eric. I'm like, y'all, what? Y'all are working on plurals.
Yeah, it was like a moose and meese and mice and mices and foot and feets. That's what they were telling me. It's feets. So I was like,
Yeah.
I think so, but, you know. And they're like, well, how do you know when it's it? I'm like, you don't. That's the fun part.
Have you ever seen Brian Reagan, Stupider in School?
No.
Oh my gosh, you should look it up. It's funny. It's a little bit from when he was in like 5th grade or whatever, and they're talking about plurals, and he says a flock of moosin in the woodsin, boxing.
That's so funny. I feel bad for them sometimes. I'm like, grammar rules. They're like, well, how do you know? I'm like, you have to just know. I'm sorry, I can't tell you.
You just learn.
I don't know. And the book didn't give me why. It just shows me that this is the pattern. And they're like, okay. I'm like, sorry.
Yeah.
That's
English is like the hardest language out there. So sorry you guys got born into this.
I know. I do feel bad. But
yeah.
Hey, they'll live. Gotta teach them all the stuff. I don't know. They'll
exactly
figure it out at some point.
Anything else you're scared of?
I don't know. This seems like deceptive, like, because we talked about this briefly, but apparently my body is afraid of flying.
Really?
My mind is not afraid of flying.
Okay.
The last 2 times that I've flown away.
Uh-huh.
So Anna and I went to Disney in 2021, and Eric and I went to Disney, obviously, this summer. Before both flights, I was throwing up. Not hungover, not anything. But on the way home, I was fine.
So it's like a subconscious type.
I think it was. I think what had to do with it in 2021 with the first one, our flight was around like 5 a.m.
Ooh.
So first of all, there's that. You know, waking up just like not feeling in a rush. But this was the first time I've flown without my parents.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just me and my sister, and I was in charge. And her and I had made the reservations. We had made the park pass reservations. So like, I think it was more like rooted in the anxiety of like, oh shit, like I'm the one in charge. I'm the one that needs to know what's going on.
Right.
Like if things get messed up here, that's like, what are we going to do? And so I think that was it. And then I think this summer I was just so worried about getting sick that I made myself sick.
See, that's not fun. Growing up, I was definitely kind of when it comes to knowing stuff is coming. So like going on trips or I had a presentation or I know how to do some like public speaking or whatever, I would have that same issue. Like my stomach would hurt. I would get really sweaty. And I mean like buckets, just like pit stain.
Yeah.
It was awful. And just kind of that anxiety of like knowing something big is happening.
Yeah.
Even up to like high school graduation, I was just like, oh my God, I'm graduating. I'm going to be in a room full of people. Which like throughout high school, I did a lot of like leadership stuff. So I kind of forced myself out of my comfort zone a lot. We went to a overnight camp thing for one thingy or majig. And it's like crazy to me, like exactly what you said. In your head you're fine, you're like, I mean, it's no big deal, I've done this before.
Yeah.
But just your body's like, nope, you're nervous.
Yeah, it was so weird. So I'm hoping the next time we fly, I'll be like fine. I just don't know. And I don't want to be like worried about it to make myself worked up and then get sick because I'm all worked up.
Right.
And like thankfully this time it was less severe. Like in Disney I was throwing up like all day.
Right.
Essentially until I took a nap because I think it was just like I was trying to eat and drink stuff and it just wasn't helping. I was, making it worse per se, just because I was like, oh my gosh, I just want this to go away. I want to feel better.
Yeah.
But like, you're so worked up that you can't calm down. So we'll see if flying is a permanent fear.
Well, I'm wondering if like that was my issue. So, when Grace and I went to Europe, when like our flight from Detroit into DC and then DC over to London, like I wasn't like nervous, but I was definitely like full of nerves and excitement and everything. I was just like, oh my gosh, this is finally happening. Like I've been waiting so long to go to Europe. And I can't believe it's already here, which I also can't believe it's been like 8 months already now. But when we were going from London to Paris, we took the Channel, the Eurostar train, and as we were waiting, well, I guess let me back up a little bit. So the morning we left our hotel in London, we went over to I think it was Sainsbury's, which is their kind of little local store, not local like right on the block, but I mean it's kind of like their local Walmart per se.
Okay.
It's kind of everywhere. But we went in and I wasn't exactly the same that everyone else got for breakfast, but like I got a little bottle of freshly squeezed orange juice, which, oh my gosh, I wish we had this here. So it's like this machine, a little tangent right now, sorry, but it's a machine with like full oranges and it like dispenses the oranges, cuts them in half and then squeezes them on like juicers, and you just you grab a plastic bottle and a lid, you pop it in the machine, you press the button, it will fill the thing. You stop it by unpressing the button, tighten the lid, fresh squeezed orange juice right then and there. It's the coolest thing.
That's awesome.
But I got a little bottle of that, and then I got I think it was a chocolate croissant, and of course over there, like the fresh baked that morning, and it's so different from like a Starbucks chocolate croissant. Don't get me wrong, I love those, but I mean it was so good. And then I think I got like a cup of yogurt or cup of fruit or something like that. I got 3 things for breakfast, and the 5-6 other people who came in the store with me got something pretty similar. I think another one got a chocolate croissant, someone else got orange juice. But as we're waiting in the train station in King's Cross to get on the train over to Paris, I all of a sudden get sick. And I have to run the bathroom. I go to the bathroom 2 or 3 times. And then my second or third time that I'm in the bathroom, I start feeling nauseous. And I'm like, I feel like I'm going to throw up. I threw up 3 times, which I threw up, I wouldn't say a lot, but like kind of a lot as a kid. But then that's pretty much the last time I threw up. I don't throw up easily. I don't throw up like ever. If I ever get sick, it's kind of coming out the other end. Which, I mean, it's going to sound gross, but I prefer to have diarrhea over throwing up. It's a weird preference, but I do. Sorry for everyone listening.
I've literally never thought of that.
I have. I'm weird. But yeah, I threw up multiple times, and then I got on the train. I took a nap, and I mean, it was, I think, like 4-hour, or maybe it was a 2-hour train ride. I don't know. However long the Eurostar goes from London to Paris. But I took a nap almost the entire train ride, and then I felt fine afterwards. But I was just like, I don't know what it was. Was it something I had that for breakfast? Because we all had the same thing to drink the night before and eat the night before, because we all went out together.
Yeah.
And then the next morning, like I said, I felt fine. We didn't go hard because we knew we had to get up early for our train ride. But we had a couple drinks. But I mean, I normally kind of feel it the next morning if I know like my stomach's kind of having the alcohol shits, which is a real thing, and it sucks. But like I said, I don't throw up from that. It's usually the other end. So I have no idea why I threw up that day, because everyone else pretty much had the same stuff that I did. So I don't think it was food poisoning. So I wonder if it's the same thing, like just kind of knowing like, oh my gosh, I'm in a foreign country. Now I'm going to another foreign country on a train, which I love trains. And so my first kind of actual train experience outside of the U.S. So I wonder if it's just my body's like, you're nervous and you need to get everything out.
Yeah, I'm hoping. Because that's how my body just reacts to stress in general, is like not sleeping and getting sick. Like sometimes, like I'm so stressed, especially before I moved into our house, like I eat food and my stomach hurts. Like I get a stomach ache. There's no coming back from it. As we get closer to the wedding, I'm noticing that a little bit. I'm like, stop it. It's too many days for me not to be eating. Like, because sometimes I'll just not eat. I'm like, what's the fucking point if I'm going to get a stomach ache, or like I'll eat 3 bites. I'm like, I'm not. Eric's like, you're kidding. I'm like, no, my stomach hurts. I'm all done. And it's like, I don't know. It's so annoying because it doesn't happen till like I'm hungry. I'm not wanting food, but like once I eat, then I'm like, oh shit, well, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
So it could be that. I'm hoping for our honeymoon that that's not going to happen.
I hope so too, because that would not be a good honeymoon.
No.
Though I'm going to ask my parents to share this. So I'm not going to share it without the permission, but they have a honeymoon story. I'll just say they went to Florida. Nope, they didn't go to Florida. Mexico, somewhere down there. And they accidentally drank the water.
Oh, all right. That's not a teaser.
Yeah, there's so much more to that story, and I know my mom listens. So if she hears this episode before I give her a call to ask her, I'm sorry. But I definitely want to share this story if I get the permission, because in my opinion, I think it's so funny, but it's also kind of embarrassing. So I'm not going to share it without their permission. But any final like thoughts on fears or phobias or whatever else you want to call them before we wrap up today?
No.
No. Okay. I have been forgetting to do dad jokes, and I have one that I did in my work meeting last week, so I want to do it today. I don't know if I told you this one or not, but I find it like so funny.
But I just remembered another fear I have is dad jokes. No, I'm just kidding.
Funny. Oh, see, that one deserves one of these.
Thank you.
You're so funny.
I'm satisfied.
But, I mean, I'm satisfied because I can remember that we have this, like, these fancy buttons that I can click that I always forget we have. But what do you get from a dwarf cow?
What?
Condensed milk.
And on that note,
oh,
for
come
listening.
on, that's funny. Condensed
Never
milk,
coming back.
dwarf cow. That's funny. I know. This is another reason why we're ending the podcast. We're canceled. We're getting canceled after that. After that joke.
Probably.
But guys, girls, theys, thems, and the gays, anything that falls in between any of those categories. If you like what you hear, give us a follow, give us a like. It really does help us out. Tell people about our podcast. Getting the word out is so much better for us and helps us grow as a channel. Or channel's more YouTube, but podcast, whatever you want to call it. So hope you guys like what you're hearing. I've been saying this last couple weeks, but it really does go to show. And get you involved. Let us know if you want to hear anything, what we talk about. There's some weeks we're just like, what are we talking about 5 minutes before we hit record? Isn't that right, Amy?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is work. It's fun, but it is work. We have to plan some time. So just let us know if you want to hear anything, goofy or whatever. But, until next week, peace out.
Bye.